It's telling us Jubilee crisis. MPs list 8 demands. Of course, this is after that rant by the president a few days ago. And we're being told by the Standard that the Jubilee MPs allied to Ruto list grievances and fueling division in the party and want a meeting to discuss the 2022 succession plan and handshake, among other things. This is by the Standard. What do you think about it, Mr. Bichachi?
There are a number of things. There's obvious disquiet within the Jubilee ranks. And that disquiet is caused by the fact that there's clearly a diversion of vision between the Tanga group allied to the deputy president and the president himself. In fact, I don't even want to involve Kieleweke here because the president has not even associated himself with the mantra of Kieleweke. But the core differences between Tanga and the president is first in the term. One, they want to Tanga and the president does not think Tanga is quite useful at this time. And secondly, the president is focused on the handshake, and his view of handshake is he's merging the 44% that Raila Odinga had in 2017 with his 54%, and then he's saying this is the supermajority of Kenyans, and that is my view of making peace, that there's no peace in this country if the two main leaders in this country do not unite. Now, Tanga has a different view of that handshake, and they view it as a political gimmick to get rid of the presidency of William Ruto. The other issue Tanga has is with the fight against corruption. In their view, that Kimwarer and Aror dams are within their station, and therefore, if the fight against corruption is to be equal, then we must investigate a dam down the road in Thika, forgetting that the governor of Kiambu, who I'm sure is from the right tribe, in quotes, is also in the doldrums in as far as corruption is concerned. But they still view that the fight against corruption is targeted against stopping the candidacy of one person. So their view of Uhuru Kenyatta's second term is to stop the candidacy and that then makes Tanga an important initiative, so they can go around the country proving to themselves and to the nation that their movement is popular, so creating basically an echo chamber. So for as long as those remain true and those factors remain constant, the president and the Tanga team are headed on a collision course.
Yes, of course. And then we're being told in the article some of the burning issues rocking Jubilee include division stoked by rival Tanga and Kieleweke group, as Mr. Bichachi has pointed out. Then we have the 2022 succession plan, obviously. Then we have Uhuru Raila handshake. This has been an issue for months on end. Then the Building Bridges Initiative, proposed referendum, economic hardships and delays in the disbursement of grassroots development funds. And in that particular rant, as we are terming it, we had the president saying that he wants them to shift from politics to development matters. And his current tour, he's going to land in Eldoret, that is all about development, not politics. And that also forms the basis of a Twitter poll question. We want to know if that current visit is going to make it ease tensions in the Jubilee party. Mr. Osiani, when you see this headline, Jubilee leaders 8-point demand to party bosses, what do you feel?
Well, I think Jubilee leaders are being a bit dishonest.
Dishonest?
First, we need to ask ourselves, are we able to put politics behind us for the sake of country? Is it possible that we have a few good men and women who are able to put the country first, ahead of their dreams, ahead of their aspirations, ahead of their greed? And once we address that question, then we will have addressed the basis upon which President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga decided to have a handshake. Was it for the good of the country? Certainly. Now, I would be quick to remind Jubilee parliamentarians, because all this noise they make is not about all those things they list. Whatever the noises they are making are hinged upon the desire for the deputy president to ascend to the presidency. His troops have not been called to order by their boss, so they have gone haywire. They've become absolutely cantankerous. Now, the parliamentarians should be able to know that without tranquility and peace in this country, there wouldn't be even citizens for them to lead or represent in parliament. The moment we cease to have peace in this country, the economy will worsen. You may argue that it's not at its best, but without that handshake, I dare ask them what this country would be like. Today we see people crying and saying, things are tough, the economy is a bit hard, they are hard pressed, there's no circulation of money, we have our debt burden. The question is, would it be worse or better without the handshake?
Yes,
the
definitely.
answer is obvious. So I want to ask the parliamentarians who are focused on 2022 from both sides of the divide, whoever they are, Jubilee, ODM, NASA, name them, to put their aspirations behind and let us fix the country. In the developed democracies, once we are done with elections, people delve into service.
Correct, culture politically, is that even realistic?
And who is going to transform the political culture? Is it the citizens who do not have, the basic sophistry to be able to break this down? Or is it their leaders who will go to their hallowed chambers and do what they are elected to do, which is not to entirely politic, but to politic with the intention of improving the livelihoods of these Kenyans?
I mean, Bichachi.
What, pray tell, does Tanga Tanga campaign on? When your leader is a sitting deputy president, your rank and file are sitting parliamentarians. So what exactly are you promising people that you're not doing now? This is what I don't understand. And it's not biased.
It's quick to, we have to quickly note that the leader of majority in parliament is Tanga Tanga. The speaker for the Senate is Tanga Tanga. The leader for majority in the Senate is Tanga Tanga. The chief whip in the Senate is Tanga Tanga. So what is it you're not doing that you so badly want to do 3 years from now?
It's like me and him showing up for this show and telling people, next week we will talk about this topic. Next week, when you're sitting in the corridors of power, you're sitting on the seat of power, you have the power to do all these things that you all listen. The only slogan Tanga Tanga should have in 2022 is we will continue doing what we've been doing. Now, unfortunately, they've been doing a lot of nothing. And let me ask this hustler nation, genuinely, what has the hustler promised you? Other than the hustler getting to State House, what will the hustler do for hustlers? They can't answer that question. And I'm not against anyone's presidency here.
Of money.
You understand? And this is the problem of this ideology we have right now in our politics. It's an empty.
There's no ideology.
It's empty. It's void. And the problem is, if we continue this way, my dear nation, and I don't care how Tanga Tanga you are, but they tweet me and abuse me the way you want. But I'll tell you for free, if we continue empty politics, development conscious politics, the politics that is unable to even outline what their ideology is outside of popularity, and you've been chosen by God, really there's a big problem in this country.
Right, there is a big problem. Do you have something to add?
I don't want us, because the listeners may think that we have come here to bash
anti-Tanga Tanga panel,
and that we have chosen terms, and I want to let them know that we rise above partisan politics when we come here to assess, but we must point out the ills of the nation and those who met it upon the citizens. And that is why I say, and we must rebuke Tanga Tanga and the others who may have decided to fight with the pig in mud. You cannot fight with a pig in mud. It will beat you with experience. So whereas these people have decided to go low, as Michelle Obama would popularly say, when they go low, we go high. They must choose the higher calling of trying to focus on redeeming the nation. They must be the people who, when they stand in podiums, are able to say, excuse me, this is our take. This is how we are going to address the debt crisis in this country. This is how we are going to solve the job creation problem that we have, the unemployment crisis in this country. This is how